Daily Detroit is brought to you by the community. Support our work at patreon.com/dailydetroit.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to your Daily Detroit, sharing what to know and where to go in Southeast Michigan. It is Wednesday, September 17th, 2025. I am Jer Stays, coming to you from the Paris of the Midwest and the sunny corner of Tech Town. So glad that you're here with us, and I'm also so glad that none other than the Prince of Brightmoor himself, Norris Howard, is here as well.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? I hope you all are enjoying this beautiful week in Detroit. Look at the stretch of weather we've had. It's mid-September. Get ready. The polar ice caps is coming because it's hot.
You know what is the buzz with so many things, whether online, and we're actually going to be going to the opening, is that Apple Store.
Yes, it is going to be finally opening in downtown Detroit.
Friday, 5 p.m.
Friday, 5 p.m. Everybody's going to be super excited. And you know it's going to be dope. We're going to go to the opening and then, I don't know, maybe let's go enjoy downtown Detroit, get a drink, meet some folks.
Ooh, okay. So if you're going to the opening, let's say you're staying in line. Let's say maybe you go in there and then afterward you're famished because I'm sure there's going to be a long line. Where would be the first place you would send somebody after they bought their brand new AirPods or whatever?
Oh, the first place I would send somebody. Okay, it's Friday night. So actually where I would suggest for a Friday night and you're going to stay out, like you just bought some AirPods, you don't need to take nothing home, right?
Right.
I would tell you to walk right down to the block and then go to Easy Peasy, eat, get a drink, and then maybe if you stay around a little bit later, go downstairs, go to Low Key.
I like Low Key.
Low Key slaps.
I was down there with friend of the show, Mickey Lyons, and Randy Walker.
Yeah.
And we went to space.
It's a time, ain't it?
Yes.
It's a time. So that's where I would suggest, like, if you're looking for like okay, I don't have to leave here, but I could get two very distinctly different vibes. Yeah, Easy Peasy / Low Key is where I would suggest.
So what vibe are you looking for? If you're looking to party, I agree with you. And I also would say maybe Queen's Bar.
Queen's Bar, definitely.
Right around the corner.
See, I always suggest
and
Queen's Bar.
And then late night speaker box.
Yes. I always suggest Queen's Bar if you are a local. Because to me, Queen's Bar is where you go and you see your cousin or you see auntie or you see like, and not an old auntie, like your young auntie. Or you see like some folks you went to school with. Like Queen's Bar to me is the most neighborhood feeling bar to me. That's downtown currently, especially over in that part of downtown.
And to be clear, we're giving recommendations to that part of downtown because you had just gone to the Apple Store. We're trying to be good about this. Now, food side, Olin.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
If you can get reservations.
Olin or Wright and Company.
Ooh.
Me, I say Wright and Company.
I love the views from Wright and Company.
Also, if you could get a reservation.
Don't sleep. You know what though? But as far as fast casual goes, if you're thinking right there, don't sleep on Mr. Dips.
Not Mr. Dips or the chicken place around there.
Oh, Penny Reds.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you might not have a reservation. And then there's Huddle Soft Serve, which I think if the weather's good, they're still going to be open.
They're going to be open, yep.
So there's like a bunch of things you can check out around there.
And if you are, I don't know, 22 years old, just go to Breakman. Just go to Breakman. Just call it a day and go to Breakman.
I don't know, though. If you want the vibe, if you want the people, let's say not 5 o'clock, let's say a little bit later, get a little food, saying you're in your 20s.
Yeah.
The Belt.
Oh,
from Deluxe Flux down to Standby.
Yeah, the Belt for sure.
But you got to be ready for people.
But,
like the last time I went to Deluxe Flux, I was like having to put on my I got to be ready.
No, you got to be fresh. You got to be fly if you go into the Belt. But yeah, let me put it this way. Breakman, if you're a little dressed down, you casual, you left out the house to go to the Apple Store and you didn't realize you were going to stay out, just do Breakman. If you threw your stuff on, go to the Belt.
You know, you were doing some driving earlier this week.
Yeah, that's right, actually. I found myself out in my old stomping grounds. I was out there Grand River in the northwest side of Detroit. So I decided I would check out a new development, which is a new apartment complex, the Minot Park apartment complex, which is going to be senior housing right over there on Grand River, and I believe just past Outer Drive. And it is it's a 4/1, so you've seen this before. It's the same style as many of the newer build of apartment complexes that you've seen. But what makes this different is this is one of the first that we've seen kind of out in the neighborhoods, quote unquote, as what we like to call them, beyond downtown, beyond Midtown, beyond North Corktown, or even Lafayette Park. And I'm very excited about this development, or even up and down Jefferson. There's plenty of apartment complexes up and down Jefferson. But I'm excited about this development, particularly not only because it's in kind of my old stomping grounds of the city, but I think it could serve as an example of how do we continue to develop our commercial corridors that have continued to be, I don't want to say neglected, but underdeveloped. So you think about particularly on the west side, 6 Mile, 7 Mile, parts of Finkel, Grand River is another one, Greenfield, if we're talking about north and south, where you have enough space to be able to develop some things. And like throw some of these 4over1s with some, retail on the ground floor and apartments on top of it, and see how that changes the complexion of the neighborhoods, right? Because we've kind of never had that in Detroit. We kind of always had, entire single family detached homes in the neighborhoods. And then on our main street, if you did have residential, you had apartments or you had duplexes.
You had like a block of them along a street like Kirchville, for instance. I was sharing some photos in the member-only Discord. You can join us as a member on Patreon, patreon.com/Daily Detroit. Get yourself a nice rocks glass. But in there, I was highlighting that like Corktown had 30,000 residents. I was highlighting that the area between Grosse Pointe and the east side of Detroit had no difference in rooftop topography. That it was just apartment buildings and everything else going all the way down to the Connor plant and single family or duplex roofs all along. And this realization that like we had all these people without apartment buildings. So I'm very curious how things will be different putting more apartment buildings into the mix.
And I think it's something that we're going to have to do, right? Because, unfortunately, I think the home buying market is just going to be very difficult for people to enter into that market over the next couple of years, even if interest rates are cut.
And the home building is expensive right now.
It's expensive, and so you're seeing a lot less development. Part of why 4over1s are a thing is so they don't have to use steel. Like, that's why they exist, because most towns and cities have ordinances that say a building can only go so high if it's made out of wood. Which
you also keep your elevator costs down.
And you keep your elevator costs down, which are a huge expense when it comes to development. Like I said, if you want to join our Discord to take a look at the photos, obviously, if you want to search for the renderings, you'll be able to see what's going on in the renderings. But this is going to be senior housing, so it is not going to be for everybody. But I think if they see success with this, they're going to want to open up some market rate apartments, hopefully, in the neighborhoods and in that area, because it's stable. That was another thing that I continued to look at, which is, Grand River up and down in the northwest side coming out of Rosedale Park, still stable, still vibrant, still tons of people over there.
One thing I wanted to mention, thanks to a listener, that is happening this weekend is the Radwood Auto Show.
That's right.
That's Cars at the Station at Michigan Central Station. That's going to be Friday and Saturday. There are going to be 50 car displays. If you're into classic cars and that kind of thing, you could get your new AirPods. You can get your new phone and take pictures of the cars. Look, I'm not the biggest car guy, but I love classic
cars, yeah.
So you can go over there Friday or Saturday. Friday, it's 4 to 9, and then Saturday, 9 to 4. But the beautiful backdrop of Michigan Station, there's so much stuff over there.
Corktown, you're going to be able to slide over, get some delicious coffee, go to lunch, go to Sugar House to get a cocktail if you like. It's great.
Oh, for sure, for sure. All right, let's get into some news. The city of Detroit is projected to end the fiscal year of 24-25 with a $60 million surplus. This will be the 11th consecutive year the city has finished with a surplus since bankruptcy. The city says that they will anticipate a potential $42 million loss in corporate income tax revenue next year. This is due to a combination of recent federal tax law changes allowing for more depreciation, and a slowdown in profits from Detroit's manufacturing sector. The idea of having this reserve fund is so that there would have to be no cuts next year, so there maybe could be a surplus next year in the budget. Look, the reality is some economic headwinds are ahead.
They're here.
I feel like this is very responsible budgeting at this time, and the thing is, you got to keep your hands on the money.
Listen, I've seen some of the narrative out there in social media and other places, other reporting, talking about, if we have a surplus, then that means they didn't spend the money properly. And, the schools are falling apart. There needs to be, first of all, we have to keep remembering that the schools are a separate district. There's a whole bunch of financial wizardry that has to be done in order to get the city to directly inject cash into the schools.
Well, they're two different
different entities.
Two different entities. They're two different budgets, different funding sources. And on top of that, The mayor does not control the school district here.
Flat out. So that's number one. And number two, I think specifically because of what was seen on the horizon. Look, we ended last year with almost $500 million cash reserve, a rainy day fund, as Mayor Duggan liked to call it. And I think that was intelligent understanding kind of where the social climate was going in particular. And now we're able to withstand these sort of economic downturns, whether that be in the corporate income tax sector or with manufacturing. I think, again, to your point, it was smart budgeting. It's always good to be prepared because the last thing we want to hear is we have a decade of growth, a decade of doing all this good stuff, and now the city itself has to cut jobs. That's disheartening. And so now hearing that the city will not have to do that, you're going to have potentially a new mayor coming into office that's going to be able to have some financial freedom and wiggle room a little bit to be able to kind of make some things happen. I think this is positive. And I also looked this up. Detroit is one of the few cities in the whole country that has ended the year in surplus. I think it was here, Phoenix, Cleveland, shocking, and a couple other cities. I have to pull it up as we continue the conversation, but it is a rare thing for a city of this size to end with a surplus.
Feedback, as always, dailydetroit@gmail.com. Let's get into the auto industry as Ram has pulled the plug on its much-anticipated full-size electric truck, which was to be called the REV. The company has cited slowing demand for electric trucks in North America as the primary reason behind the decision. The company said it will rebrand its upcoming plug-in hybrid truck, previously known as the Ram Charger, to now be called the 1500 REV instead. With loosening emission standards and market shifts, Ram is bringing back the Hemi V8, and another Stellantis brand, Jeep, is getting Hemis too. Customers said that they wanted more quote-unquote attitude from the truck. This marks another setback in their electrification plans, which began with bold promises back in 2021. The all-electric concept that debuted at CES 2023 generated buzz, but the production version fell short of expectations and faced delays. The plug-in hybrid truck, now adopting the REV name, has also experienced its own setbacks. Originally scheduled for release in late 2025, Ram now says it will arrive sometime in 2026. The decision comes amid financial challenges at Ram's parent company Stellantis and shows the current uncertainty in the electric truck market and an overall switch away from all-electric vehicles at the company. Previous reports say the work was to be done at the plant in Sterling Heights.
That's rough, man, especially considering, and I'm not saying it was a runaway hit, but considering what Ford has been able to do with the F-150 Lightning and with
a well-executed vehicle.
A well-executed vehicle, seeing what other companies from abroad are able to do with electric crossovers and electric trucks. Stellantis can't win for losing. It just seems like every time they try something new or every time they want to do something, it either gets caught up in, development hell or planning hell. They got the EV Challenger or Charger that came out, and then that was unfortunately almost universally panned by car enthusiasts and reviewers alike. Stellantis is in trouble, man, besides Jeep and Ram.
Well, even then, you think about the kind of customers that are into Jeeps and Rams, and is that something that's going to be something you can build on going forward? I want to highlight something that you should read if you have a subscription. A friend of the show, Gabriella Coppola, has a great piece breaking down the leadership transitions and the machinations inside at Stellantis that they have been going through. I hope to get her on the show, actually, to talk about her piece.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a long read, but afterward, you understand that, there was just the eye was off the ball on a lot of stuff, and there were a lot of self-inflicted wounds with Stellantis.
And I mean, also, it's going to be difficult to go from an American-controlled company to a German-controlled company to a French-controlled company to an Italian-controlled company. That's a lot of changeover from a lot of leadership with countries that have vastly different corporate cultures and vastly different sort of North Stars when it comes to how they want to run a company. At the end of the day, I think with Stellantis and hearing this was, by the way, the biggest bruise to this, and the thing that's the most frustrating is the fact that this is now less work for the Sterling Heights plant, period. That's the biggest thing.
And less work across the board. People forget, although that Stellantis is kind of the third of the quote-unquote Detroit 3, or however you want to call it, if they call them Detroit 3 or whatever, their actual physical plant infrastructure here is pretty large in Metro Detroit.
Oh, yeah.
As far as actually making the stuff. Look, there's a reason why Mayor Mike Duggan drives around a Jeep.
Yep.
It used to be Cadillacs.
Nope.
Kilpatrick used to drive the Cadillacs, remember?
I'm trying to forget. But
He actually had a custom chair in one of the conference rooms that was like a Cadillac chair.
yeah. So Cadillac used to be, and I believe even doesn't the president drive a Cadillac?
Well, the Beast
Is a Cadillac. Yeah. So the thing about it is that's the big thing here. But from a consumer point of view, which is how I'm approaching this, it just continues to be, to me, fumble after fumble when I'm hearing that every time they try to plan for an EV sort of platform to move forward, it just can't be executed on. And I mean, we already talk about how the American auto manufacturers are already being left in the dust by China and by others. For Stellantis to be that far in third place when it comes to this, even just amongst the American car makers, is crazy.
Well, I would love your thoughts. dailydetroit@gmail.com or leave a voicemail, 313-789-3211. So this week I had the chance to go to Belle Isle.
Nice.
And not just for fun. There was a reception to unveil plans for the Belle Isle Park Commons.
Yes.
So the Belle Isle Commons, I'm very interested in this one. And when I say plans, this is more of like a broad vision.
Yeah.
As opposed to specific. So this would be a new central hub on the island. The plan would be to change a parking lot near the aquarium into a public plaza, including a lighted promenade for pop-up businesses, a canal boardwalk, and a new cafe.
Listen, you know me, getting rid of a parking lot, fan-freaking-tastic.
Oh, you take a jackhammer yourself.
I would. They wouldn't even have to pay. Let me not say that. But no.
Listen, Daily Detroit needs resources, and if we've got to go bust up a parking lot and make some extra money.
Hey, man, I got a hard hat at home. But the point is look, I've said this many times. I've been to other parks, other places that are similar to Belle Isle, and they have these sort of amenities that have been missing from Belle Isle for many years. Places like a ferry pier, cafes and restaurants on the island, promenades and plazas where you can actually go and buy things. There's really not a place to buy anything on Belle Isle. Think about that.
There was a move against all commerce on the island, and I think that was short-sighted.
I'm going to call it stupid, is what I'm going to call it, okay? It is one of the major tourist attractions in Southeast Michigan, and you're not going to allow people to buy tchotchkes? That's just fumbling the bag.
Or a hot dog.
Right, or a hot dog.
I mean, there's places to get that stuff, but it's
They're
not
food trucks, and we can still do, yeah.
It's never been as full as other places.
Yeah, and so like I went to the Toronto Islands last year, and you took a ferry, you got there. There was a whole dang on amusement park on the Toronto Islands, and that's like half the size of Belle Isle.
So the goal of this is to reduce the need for cars, or you park once and then you walk out and do different things. Because at the end of the day, Belle Isle can handle so many more people comfortably and with space.
On foot.
Yeah. So if you can even reduce it a little bit, nobody's saying we're going to get rid of all the cars. But if you can find ways, like I think about ways, like wouldn't it be amazing to have like a road trolley? I'd love rail, but in reality, like a road trolley.
I want a boat. I just want a boat. Just give me a boat. Like, this is Simple Simon stuff. Just give me a boat that goes from Hart Plaza to Belle Isle. Simple.
Well, yeah. And that's not in this, to be clear.
No,
and nor is the trolley. But those are things I think that would be great. This idea would have walking paths that would connect all of these things. You got the giant slide nearby. You got the aquarium. Now, this is in the concept phase. And I want to mention that because we're going to have a link in the show notes where you can provide your feedback to them. And they want to hear from folks because when I went there, I think it's really key. And if you're looking at our live stream, you've seen video clips of my experience over there. They want people's feedback. Go in there and what are the things that you're most excited about? And they are drawings, but they're more cartoonish for a reason. These aren't renderings because we're not there yet. And I really appreciate this approach that's more about, hey, we're going to take a bunch of feedback. And we're going to say, hey, this is the kind of concept we want. Because who's against walking paths? Who's against lighted areas, right? And so start to get that feedback. And that's a much more collaborative approach than the past. In fact, I would say that's more collaborative than at times when the city acted.
It is 1,000 times. And, this is also something that functions even better than how we were talking about with the 375 project, which was the state coming in from on high, having an idea, then going, oh, we forgot to ask the community. So it's an afterthought. And when you're going in from day one to say this has been a collaborative effort, at least in the planning stage, between the Conservancy and the community, then you can move forward with a collective vision that everybody will be happy with at the end.
I will mention that we have an interview with Conservancy head Megan Elliott in our feed. Go back and look for it. It was a really interesting conversation. You could tell her passion for the island. And at this event, it was clear that this is like our island, not just we're going to have this one thought. So anyway, feedback is always dailydetroit@gmail.com or 313-789-3211. Now, before we go, I want to make sure to mention something that is close to the heart of so many Detroiters, and that is Eastern Market After Dark. It is coming up this Thursday, September 18th from 6 to 11 p.m. If you've never been and you can make it out on a Thursday, you need to go because the place is electric, from food trucks to activations, to art, to people going around, to retail, to the restaurants that are there. Like, if you want an idea of like what I would love to see Eastern Market be as a hub, not just on Saturdays, but on nights throughout the year. Let's say if we were to move a bunch of people together near Eastern Market, if we were to bring that kind of life, Eastern Market After Dark is it. And I just say, if you can make it 6 to 11 p.m. on Thursday, go, because it's going to be great.
Eastern Market After Dark, which to me is the official close of summer festival season every year. It is the sort of season ending marker. It is the beginning of the school year. And let me tell you something, Eastern Market After Dark is a time. All right, it's a time. You go out there, you have great drinks, you get food, you see everybody is at Eastern Market After Dark. Everybody be down there. Particularly if you are a part of the sort of Eastern Market, Midtown, downtown, Corktown community. If you live in those areas like that, Eastern Market After Dark is also a fantastic time for you to go out and get to know more people, get to know your neighbors. There's artists, there's vendors, there's all sorts of stuff that you can do. And it's always been one of my favorites simply because of you just randomly stumble upon stuff. You know, you go to Eastern Market After Dark and somebody be out there playing some music and they be like, oh yeah, man, just go slide over to Midnight Temple. They doing something over there. Oh man, yeah, why don't you slide over to this area or this area, and we got this going on in this bar in this area. And it's just, you go out there and next thing you know, you look up, it's 1:30 in the morning. That's how it is.
Well, I really appreciate that. You know, it's so many good memories for it. I really encourage people, go on out there. I think you can Google the website. I'll put a link in the show notes. I don't normally highlight things that are just 2 days away, but I think it's just so important to like, hey, make sure you go out and check out this thing, especially because it's not on a weekend. I know it takes a little extra giddy up for some folks to come out on a Thursday, but this one should be worth it.
Yeah, fantastic. And you know, just go, man, and go and experience it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening to Your Daily Detroit. I really appreciate you. I really appreciate our members on Patreon, patreon.com/Daily Detroit. Local media requires local support to survive, and that means you. So patreon.com/Daily Detroit. Get yourself a rocks glass. Yeah, they're there waiting for you. Also, thank you, Norris Howard. So good to see you.
Thank you, Jer Stays. Good to see you as well.
Thank you to producer Adam behind the scenes, doing a lot of great things. If you have not seen our live stream, make sure to tune in. It's on YouTube. We usually do it on Tuesdays now, Tuesday afternoons. You can also just go back and watch it. We save it. So you can see all the hijinks and hilarity and the outtakes. And it's a great community if you can make it and chat with the folks. They're absolutely wonderful. So with that, I'm Jer Stays.
And I'm Norris Howard.
Thank you so much for listening. Remember that you are somebody, and we'll see you around Detroit.
Yeah.